how are their comments from a day ago when this video was just released today? Because Patreon subscribers get early access to my videos. They also get an extra video a week that you don't see, the chance to chat with me on Discord, and other perks. Support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. What's it like to go from being one of the most revered and well-respected artists of the 2000s to being one of the biggest jokes of the 2010s and beyond? Well, just ask Kanye West. Kanye seemed unstoppable heading into the 2010s. From the college dropout to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, music critics couldn't line up fast enough to gargle his balls and ask if their throats were comfortable enough for his delicate sack skin. Then, he puts out Yeezus, and critics are still like, okay, well that Bound 2 video's fucking weird, and the song's kind of annoying, but he's still Kanye West, so it's probably just art at a level that we can't understand. And that goodwill carries into The Life of Pablo, which he released as an unfinished work. He updated and edited songs and added new songs after the official release date. So, if you have a copy of what he released on day one, some of those songs are different from what's on the album if you go stream it on Spotify right now. And even then, the critics, instead of going, so he released an unfinished album and wanted people to pay for that? They go, brilliant! He's changed the way we consume music again! Like seriously, he could do no wrong in these people's eyes. At least musically. Personally though, he does the Taylor Swift thing way back in 2009. Then almost does it to Beck in 2015, before going on a rant later about how his win was disrespectful to inspiration. Then we get the weird Twitter rants begging Mark Zuckerberg for money. The time he tweeted, Bill Cosby innocent. The time that he said, slavery was a choice. And of course his meetings with Donald Trump that polarized his fans, because I guess his fans forget that Kanye West is a very rich man who benefits greatly from a Republican government that won't tax the piss out of his hard-earned money that he makes selling some of the ugliest shoes ever made. But I guess he can't be that thrilled with Trump, because Kanye feels that voters need a third option. Now it seems like every 4 years Kanye threatens a presidential run, but this year he's actually doing it, having submitted paperwork to be on the ballot in Illinois, so one of 50 states, pretty serious run, and holding a campaign rally in South Carolina, a state where he didn't file in time and doesn't allow write-in votes, so no one can even vote for him there. Now, you know a rally is good when even your own fans leave 30 seconds in.
Well, Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
Yeah, that woman's reaction pretty much sums up his fan base in 2020. Now, who are you targeting by talking shit about Harriet Tubman? Like, who's the audience for that? Because I'll tell you, it's usually people in hoods, not people from the hood. And who gets up in the morning and is like, you know the woman who helped slaves escape through the Underground Railroad? Fuck that bitch. I'm gonna talk shit about her to an audience today. This rally continues with this revelation.
She said she was pregnant, and for 1 month, and 2 months, and 3 months, we talked about her not having this child. She had the pills in her hand. Do people know these pills where you take the pills, and if you take it, it's a wrap. The baby's gone.
Aw, man. Remember that childhood memory we all have of our dads getting up on a stage in front of a whole bunch of people and millions online to say that you weren't wanted and you almost never existed? No, you don't, because who the fuck does that? Northwest, who already has to be named Northwest, is fucking 7 years old. You don't think she understands this? I mean, in case she didn't know what an abortion is, Kanye breaks down while breaking it down in even more simple terms.
I'm gonna kill my daughter!
Now, you, like the rest of the rational world, might be thinking, Buckley, didn't you say this was a campaign rally? What does any of this have to do with him running for office? I mean, this is politics now, I guess, but this was all building to his policies on abortion, which of course is always the very first thing you should talk about in an election season where the economy and racial inequity are the hottest issues.
Abortion should be legal, but the option of maximum increase should be available. Maximum increase would be everybody that has a baby gets $1 million or something in that.
Everybody that has a baby gets $1 million or something. What a well thought out policy. And his own audience laughed at it. This is the type of shit a 16-year-old comes up with when they're like, how come no one's ever said this? I bet it would get votes. And if you think I'm that far off, though I don't have footage, he also reportedly said that marijuana should be free. No platform, no explanations on why or what these things accomplish, just free weed and $1 million or something for having a kid. This is the type of shit that gets you voted student council president, not president of the United States of a fucking America. So right after this, he goes off on Twitter in a series of now deleted tweets in which he said, Kim tried to bring a doctor to lock me up with a doctor. And if I get locked up like Mandela, y'all will know why. Is it possible that someone's trying to get Kanye help? Because all of this is being blamed on mental illness. Now, I'm aware mental illness is real, but how the fuck do you feel bad for this guy? Everyone's going, oh, he needs help. This is awful. We shouldn't laugh about this. Whatever. The guy hasn't built up an ounce of fucking goodwill over the last few years. How do you feel sorry for this guy? For example, aside from everything I already talked about earlier, did you know that Kanye West's company, Yeezy, applied for and received somewhere between $2 and $5 million in government loans for pandemic payroll protections? It's a fucking clothing company that sells overpriced shoes and sweatshirts to idiots with more money than they know what to do with. The shoes alone made $1.3 billion in sales just last year. Why does he need $2 to $5 million in government money? Why can't the company just ride it the fuck out? Because why not, right? Why not take the government money? He talked about this in his Mark Zuckerberg rant years ago. The rich don't stay rich by using their own money. And I don't know about you, but I know people who are bipolar, who suffer from anxiety, who have been suicidal. And they aren't just complete shaft veins with bad takes on everything constantly. I've never met a mentally ill person who, while having an episode, started blaming slaves for being slaves. If anything, constantly just playing the mental illness card to excuse Kanye's behavior is damaging for everyone else who suffers from these conditions. Because he's in the public eye constantly defending his title of King of the Assholes, and so when you meet a regular old nobody like the rest of us and find out they suffer from bipolar disorder or any mental illness, you go, oh, like Kanye? So, like, sometimes you're just gonna spout off a bunch of horrible shit and feel like you're entitled to other people's money? And his nonsense just constantly being blamed on him being off his meds or not having people around him who care about his well-being, instead of putting any responsibility on Kanye, puts a burden on other people with mental illnesses who are looked at in the same light. So, let me present this thought to you. He's mentally ill and a fucking piece of shit. Someone can be both, and one thing doesn't excuse the other. Does he need help? Yes. Does he need to shut the fuck up? Also, yes.